good for.
All right, let's get into it. Okay. Presented by Under Armour. Welcome to Light Years. Andy Lou, we're recording this after the Warriors 129-118 lost to Milwaukee Bucks, split the back-to-back against the Chicago Bulls and the Milwaukee Bucks. Steph doesn't play the second half fit. I think on face value, you can say, okay, I can live with this. This is what I expected. They needed to win in Chicago. They probably were never going to beat Milwaukee. Get Steph a must-needed day off. This is like the healthiest Steph's been in like 5 years, by the way. But, you know, and I think they had, I thought it was a nice effort against Milwaukee. And for part of it, I thought they were actually going to pull it off because
Yeah, right. You did. No, you wait. Well, no way. You seriously thought
what do you think of? I'm not impressed with Milwaukee.
I'm not. They also didn't. They didn't give a shit tonight.
That's part of the reason.
Well, mid January. No, okay. So their defense has been bad all season, right? So you're right. It's not a team that's been super impressive. They're winning games because it's regular season games.
They're winning because of talent. I kind of feel like they're not like collectively making each other better. If that
I wonder too, though, like they're not gonna use the regular season to get better at things that they probably need to, right? It's kind of like the Boston Celtics, who you watch them win. They're gonna win what 58, 60 games, and then you're just gonna go, does it matter? Because they still can't get good offense down the stretch of games. Like none of this truly matters. So
none of this maybe tells you if they're addressing the stuff that you need to see them address to win a title.
Better way to put it, right? Yeah. Dame doesn't look good. That's the thing to me that really blows my mind is Dame just doesn't look like. I know I mentioned this. I think you watch more Bucks than me. I kind of hate watching Eastern Conference basketball. But Dame just doesn't look great. That's the thing.
They're definitely not high on the league pass watch list. I've watched enough of them this season. Like bad vibes, not fun to watch. Giannis, vibes, huh? Giannis doesn't look like he's enjoying himself either, by the way. Anyway, that's enough Bucks. Let's get to the Warriors here. Let's do a little bit on this game, and then we'll go bigger picture because Steph didn't play tonight. Like we don't need to microanalyze this game, right?
Deserve a day off though. You mentioned this, but I want to point it because I saw some people kind of like why take this one off, you know? And then after the game they lose by a couple points. They're like, maybe he shouldn't. It's like, dude,
that's how you know he's the face of the league. People get mad when he sits, even though like he needed to sit.
He needed to sit a week ago. Hell, he needed to sit 2 weeks ago, and they knew they'd lose this game. Honestly, if he played this game, Milwaukee just tries harder, and they lose the game.
They see a dude, and they're like, "Oh, we're coming for him."
Yeah. Exactly. Like it doesn't change the result of tonight. But yeah, day off. Guess he's back on Monday. I don't know. Does that really help? But whatever. I just thought deserve a day off. Good for Steph, and maybe he'll get Draymond back too. So anyway,
there's reports Draymond could play Monday against the Grizzlies. I think he will. I think that's like one of those like cautious feeler things that they're going to clear him. But you never know. If it isn't Monday, it'll be right after that Wednesday, and they really could use him back as soon as possible. Just because,
yes,
you know, we're at game 39. They're not good. They're still under 500. They're still out of the play-in. Granted, they're like a 5-game winning streak away from being the 6th seed. But you know, at a certain point, you need to start racking up W's. Otherwise, you just have no shot at anything. Forget the trade deadline. Like, they just need to win some games, period. And they're going to get them back. And let's talk about this game a little bit. I think what was cool about the Bucks game, which they never, you know, come on, man. The Bucks have 2 top 75 all-time players, 3 all-stars, all that sort of stuff against the Warriors kind of young squad here. Podz in the homecoming, hard not to love him. He's when he hit the step back on Dame and then a step back on Giannis, I'm like, this is why I think we shouldn't write off his overall upside. Because he's got a level of like cockiness in him mixed with dog that like he knows people see like kind of a funny looking white kid, you know. He's like said it in interviews. He's always out there to like prove to people that like, hey, don't judge me by my appearance. I can play, you know. And I just think he's better than people think. I think he's more skilled than people think. I don't think people understand how hard it is to hit a step back three in an NBA game against Giannis, you know?
The
I don't think people understand how hard it is to get 10 rebounds as a 6'3" guard all the time. And I'm not even touching on the feel stuff, which is always the most impressive, you know?
he's got this weird shifty finishing game around the rim, which is really cool to see because most guys, I mean, for example, it's totally different. I mean, this guy was undrafted and everything, but like you look at Lester Quinones go to the rim tonight, it's so much more different than watching Podz when they're kind of the same size, right? And kind of the same level of athleticism, not super athletic, can dunk, but like not much more than that. But you look at Podz, he's got like a fake floater, then he goes with like a Euro after that, finishes around the rim, where you're just like, man, you can work on that stuff, but for a rookie to do that against Brook Lopez, and he did it against Giannis once too, it's super, super impressive where you start to watch like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is probably the best finishing guy, like shifty finishing guy at the rim nowadays. And so like, I'm not saying he's going to end up beating him, but just watching him do stuff like that is cool. We don't see Warriors players do that because Warriors players have always been kind of slash or shoot a three. The only guy is just Steph. That's it, right? And then everyone else is
Poole. Poole for
right, and Poole. But Poole relied so much. He has such quick burst, and he's a little bigger. He's got more athleticism too because he could cock it back a little bit. Podz definitely can't, even though he dunked tonight twice. But yeah, the shifty athleticism is really cool for finishing. I mean, shifty finishing, not athleticism. It's really cool. I enjoyed seeing it. I don't think I've seen enough of it this season, so it's cool to see it tonight. 10 for 14, and only 3 of them were threes.
Yeah, I mean, he can play. I'll put it that way. Like he's just, it's fun to watch him. Like to me, I think touch is somewhat innate. You either have touch or you don't. And if you have it, you can improve it and you can keep working on other aspects of your game. You can get stronger. You can develop, a second jump. You can get a little better at various aspects. But like, if you don't have touch, you don't have touch, and when I watch him, it's like what you're saying. It's like, it's the floater. It's the kind of some of the innate stuff where I'm like, man, he's only 20. Wait until he gets a couple of years of professional weight experience. Wait until he starts figuring out how to use his body to create more space and all that little stuff. It's pretty exciting. Yeah. He's going to be a very good player for a long time. That's kind of
him and the next guy. The next guy.
And Kuminga, another great game from Kuminga. I was looking at the numbers. So this is the 16th game they've played without Draymond Green. I know. And honestly, if I told you before the stretch, Draymond would lose 16 straight games and they were 8-8, wouldn't you take that? Wouldn't you be like, yeah,
he's missed 16 straight games. Is that how long it's been?
Yeah.
So I actually misheard you. I thought you meant he's missed 16 games this season. No.
16 has been the better health suspension.
Better.
And it's like on the one hand, I feel like, dude, they need to start figuring something out or the season's gone. On the other hand, I'm like, hey man, I would have penciled if they went 16. I would have penciled 6 and 10. I know they can string together a few games, but that's a long time to have no defense, and they still have no defense.
Right.
They have no.
That Chicago game was
right.
That was just
that was just who could get more buckets, and the Warriors needed more buckets, so we'll take it. But it was you could feel no Draymond. Anyway, my point is, I think the biggest beneficiary of Draymond's absence has been Kuminga. Another great game tonight, 28 points. I don't know if that's a season high, but it feels like it's approaching a season high for him in general. 10 for 18. His finishing has been so good since he's been kind of the consistent 4-man who gets to attack the rim. Not like in the early part of the season, it was so frustrating watching him fade away in the post. I'm like, dude, go up harder. You're bigger, stronger, more athletic. And he stopped doing that. Now he's just going harder at the rim. He's finishing inside. He's getting the free throw line. 6 for 6 tonight. Over this stretch before tonight's game, he was 76% from the free throw line. He might be 80% from the free throw line now, which is a huge improvement from the guy who was in the mid 60s the last 2 years in general. And
that's incredible.
I think he's an 80% free throw shooter? Probably not. But like going from 65 to 75% is pretty impressive. That's the difference between, they're going to foul you and, well, no, you can get to the rim at will, So,
wow. You are throwing some numbers out today. That's good.
I think that matters.
One.
I think, he is, I'm going to share real quick his numbers coming into this game. And just keep in mind, this does not count the Bucks game, which will only increase his numbers. This is the last 15 games without Draymond. 57% from the field, 32.5% from three. Yeah, the three balls still it's not a shot. He'll hit a few, but he's not a 3-point shooting threat just yet, but at least he's mastering the downhill thing. I feel like last year, probably the thing that frustrated you more than anyone was he can't shoot, but he's also not taking it to the rim. He's just kind of floating a little bit. At least now he's taking it to the rim pretty consistently. He's realized he has an athletic advantage on everyone except for Giannis in the NBA.
That was pretty funny. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, right.
A guy that's just bigger than him, but yeah, I mean,
but how many Giannis's are there in the NBA? You know what I'm saying?
One. That's it.
Against Chicago, he did whatever he wanted at the rim, and against most teams, he should do whatever he wants at the rim. He's now averaging over 16 points in 27 minutes a game. Efficient at the rim. He's a subject of every trade talk for the Warriors because he's the most exciting prospect that they have. But man, when you keep seeing him do this stuff, I get why they're we're not just throwing him in as a filler. If we give him to you, you're getting a top prospect for lack of a better way to put it.
It feels like he's. I'm not going to be the guy that's changing my mind every podcast, so I won't. But it's funny because the Warriors can go, he's on the table for Siakam, and then he plays well the last month. All right, now he's only on the table for Lauri Markkanen, right? Type of thing. So it's interesting. I'm curious to see because they've got now about 10 plus games left before the trade deadline to see what they do because he looks like someone that I think if you're Kuminga, he's probably gone through the toughest path to playing time as a young player. Just take out the deserve it part. You're right. He's he's won a championship. He had nothing to do with it, but he won a championship.
He contributed more to Big Jimmy, and he didn't even post on Instagram.
He hold the trophy, but I don't know why I said that was not necessary. But he's someone that I think if you were to ask him honestly, he would be very happy if he got traded somewhere else where he can just play basketball. And I don't want to be the bad guy tonight, but he didn't get to close. And you can argue maybe he wasn't very good.
So dumb.
Right? And you can argue, you could say maybe he was taking bad shots, turning the ball over, maybe his defense wasn't good. But it's if anything, you look at the work he's done the past month.
Yeah,
he deserves to close. It's pretty clear. And I think if you're Kuminga, you start to, you believe that you should be playing those minutes and all that. It is true, especially on this team that they can't not close with them because the options that they have just aren't. Even when Draymond comes back,
that's my whole thing. Benching him in closing time, like you have the 2016 Warriors, relax. You're playing corpse Andrew Wiggins, Dario Saric, Looney. These aren't, this isn't.
What are we doing?
This isn't prime Kevin Durant, Andre Iguodala.
This isn't even 2022 Wiggins or Otto Porter.
Exactly.
Otto Porter. I know you're throwing out the fucking the dream team over there, but we're talking about Otto. He's not Otto's not on this team, not walking through that door. Hell, Bielitsa's not walking through that door. Andrew Wiggins of a couple years ago. Now, even Jordan Poole's definitely not walking through that door. So I think that's not. I don't want to dive into that. It's just obvious stuff that we've talked about all season long. But I think if you're Wiggins, who tonight, you even look at he only played 30 minutes. Only played 30 minutes. And
that's my other favorite. That's my other favorite part. Steve never plays him more than 30 minutes. I'm sitting here. I'm going He's 21.
He's
He
tired.
hits his head on the rim just like doing warm-ups. Like, I promise you he'll be okay.
He'll be fine.
Dude,
Fine.
like Clay, 2 surgically repaired legs. Steve has to be told not to play him 40 minutes. But
Second end of a
Kuminga,
back-to-back too.
yeah, Kuminga, potentially the best athlete in the entire league, can't get, just like if anything, like he should be your workhorse. You know what I mean? Like, just should be the Christian McCaffrey. Just hand it off to him every play.
Next week, baby. That will be next week. It's just and also you talk about a team that needs rim pressure at the end of games, right? Even when Steph is on the floor, you need someone that can either dunk the ball or get to the hole and draw some free throws, especially at the end. Brook Lopez is getting tired. Giannis has been running around crazy all game. Dame doesn't play a lick of defense. Middleton has no chance on him. So again, like, hey, we're gonna lose this game tonight anyway. But the process to me is always iffy the way the Warriors go about it. I also thought it was interesting tonight that Steve Kerr coached this game like it was the NBA Finals. He's out here just clapping it up, calling timeouts, making subs with 1 second left in the half.
Not so sleepy.
What the hell are we doing? Do that against the Kings and maybe you don't lose a 20-point lead.
I think management's gripe with him would be
embarrassing.
Oh, we can't do this. We can't do this against better teams. You got to do this when it's like their B squad and you're excited. Like,
yeah. Then don't coach. Stop coaching. Then go coach the Spurs.
It does. Yeah, exactly. Like, he was so excited for Podz and to degree Kuminga and some of those guys, and it's just like, can we not just get this on a normal night from you? Anyway.
You're getting paid $15 million, man. Go do your job. All right.
Not yet. He will though if he wants it. So, I was gonna ask you real quick before we get to the read.
Okay.
On the Kuminga note, how many of these teams is he closing, averaging more than 15, 16 points a game, just generally getting more opportunities than he gets with the Warriors? I have the Eastern Conference standings up. We can scan to the West at the same time. I mean, I don't need to go down each one of them because it's just boring podcast stuff. But like, I'm looking at this. I'm going, I would say 50% of the NBA would be starting him right now, at least. Maybe like the Celtics.
Would the Cavs start him? Would the Cavs start him? That's it's immediate, like a average, slightly above average team. With the Cavs,
I mean, that's a team that's clearly out of the play-in, which is far better than the Warriors.
Yeah, Pacers. Would the Pacers start him? They're 8 games above 500.
The Pacers have been trying to acquire him. Like,
whoa,
it's been reported.
Whoa.
Would the Knicks start him? Yes, the Knicks have a better record than the Warriors. Would the Heat start? Dude, I don't even want to see what Spo would do with him. Go to like the West. The Kings would love him. They have no one on the wings other than Keegan Murray. And they'd probably get a solid 30 minutes a game out of him. Dallas is dying for anything assembling rim pressure around Luka and Kyrie. And like, I think I guess my overall point is the Warriors love to go into we have too many good players. It's like, well, you're the 12th seed in the West. Do you really have too many good players? Like,
do you?
Maybe just play the guys who are producing more instead of trying to, do some weird like CYO stuff where everyone gets on the floor, but you play the coach's son the most,
Just anyway, I agree. All right, we got some more stuff coming, but before that, the Light Years podcast is brought to you by Under Armour. Steph Curry makes you believe you can do anything. Curry 11s are specifically designed ultimate bounce, grip, stability to allow everyone to do their thing. New generations of ball players are coming up, showing the basketball world that the old rules do not apply. The future is exciting, fast, positive, and hungry. This NBA season, rock with your favorite player and rep his shoes on off the court. Curry 11s are built and perfect for both the committed and casual ballers. The UA Warp Tech makes the shoe feel like it was designed for your feet. Locked in no matter what you do on the court. Stop in your tracks with dual density, UA flow, cushioning and traction, an emergency brake you don't even notice. Steph's 11th signature shoe steps into the second decade of a sneaker career, pulling colorway inspiration from the wonders of a positive and modernized future on and off the court. Take these kicks with you when you leave the scrimmage, UA wherever you go. Do your thing, change the game. Curry 11 Future Curry is available now at currybrand.com.
Nice. So I had a question for you. I was thinking about this, but like basically, we're going to be talking trade rumors a bunch for the next 3 weeks. We just did a pod a day ago. Everyone check that out, by the way. And make sure to subscribe on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast players. And of course, join our playback room.
Ooh, nice.
Anyway, my point is, should we do another Siakam segment, another DeJounte? You know what I'm saying? Like, we know a move's coming. And I think we both agree that move's not coming tomorrow. So they probably have to keep this thing afloat for another 10 or so games. And that's kind of the interesting thing to me, which is what we don't know is how aggressive they'll be kind of money-wise. And what do they need to do over the next 10 games to get Joey light years to green light big spending? And what I mean by big spending is not this year's payroll. It's like I'm willing to give up potentially a Kuminga or a Moody for Siakam because I'm ready to give him $200 million at the end of the year because I'm not trading those guys for a 20-game rental. I'm ready to acquire DeJounte Murray for an expiring contract, even though I know he's owed 100 and whatever million after this year, because I believe that these players will be the dudes who write that. Like, I believe in the core, and all it needs is a tweak around Steph, and next thing you know, we're back. We're light years ahead, and I'm going to be obnoxious and on the cameras every day.
Well, the hard part about what you're saying with the next 10 games is that they'd have to thread the needle between how great they look and who are the players that they're going to trade. Because, and again, this is unlikely because we've watched it all season. If Andrew Wiggins is going to play amazing over the next 10 games, look like his same self from a year and a half, 2 years ago, why would you trade him? Right? I
hate this game. Well, if he's playing well, we want to hold on to him. But if he sucks, we can't get anything for him.
Which is why, to me, thinking like that is not. If the Warriors are thinking like that, they're going to themselves and thinking, all right, these next 10 games, it's going to tell us what we should do at the trade deadline. I just think that short-term thinking is going to bode very poorly for the Warriors. If you feel like Andrew Wiggins isn't the future for your team, then trade him no matter how good he plays in the next 10 games. You shouldn't decide, right, whether you should trade him or not. That's just one name. And I think the same definitely goes to Kuminga, right? Like, he's going, like, people are out there like, well, he looks great, you can't trade him. Well, dude, like, he might be your best bet at getting a Siakam, and you're just going to have to bite the bullet and then pay Siakam because that's the best way to win a championship.
So let me reframe the question because maybe I'm not asking it clearly enough. The Warriors are 18-21. If you're watching on stream, the standings haven't updated. They're reasonably in it with regards to, like, getting into the playoff. Like, they're not out of it. They're definitely not in it, right? They're the 12th seed right now, but they can be back in the playoffs. Okay. There's two schools of thought at the trade deadline. One is you make a bunch of moves to go for it right now. The second is you make a bunch of moves to have flexibility to do what you want to do in the summer. And that's kind of the crux of my question, because I feel like if they're sitting a game out of the playoffs, you kind of have to be like, look, man, Denver's good, but can we not just run it at them a little bit? You know, like, if we make the right moves. Whereas if the Warriors are 7 games out of the playoffs, the moves they're going to make are going to be like, let's just get off of Wiggins' contract. Let's give ourselves all this cap space and go into the offseason with, you know, all this money and this ability. And we're going to put together a dream team, whatever bullshit the Giants sell every summer. And
they're not even trying to sell anymore, by the way. But yes, keep going.
Do you get like what I'm saying though?
Yeah, I would. Can I say,
like, just to finish the thought, if they're not close to the playoffs, they're not going to give up Kuminga. They'd rather just hold him till the summer, you know? So that's kind of like the crux of my question. Like, I think they're going to get rid of Wiggins no matter what.
Whew.
I just gut feeling. And it's a question of, are they going to get rid of him and try to make some moves that help you now? Or are they going to do the very unpopular thing, which is, we're just going to try to get out of money and we'll figure it out next summer.
I would be surprised by that, but that's just me kind of hoping that they don't do that though. That's what I'm basing it on. That's it. Like, you seem to think that that's more realistic than them making a couple trades and going all in. I think is what you're saying.
I don't think it's unrealistic that they decide the moves aren't there. The best move is to set ourselves up for the summer, which would make me unhappy. And God knows how. I don't even want to talk about what we're going to have to talk about for months after that.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
But I mean, that is. And so my question is, what do they need to do to ensure that they don't do that?
Pull up that schedule. You had the schedule. That's when we could go. That's where we go straight to.
Okay.
Because Draymond's back Monday. Let's just operate with that assumption. And then
21.
Yep.
Draymond in Memphis. That has to be a W.
Yep.
They're
Jaw's out. Bane's out. So yeah, it has to be a dub.
Utah needs to be a dub.
Yep.
Dallas at home. You would think.
I mean, you got to get a revenge dub, right? Like, Atlanta is a joke, right? And then Sacramento.
Atlanta's tanking. That's
right. They just lost to the Wizards tonight. If you guys what are we doing?
30.
DeJounte Murray's on the way. So that's four wins in a row. Then
he's on the way somewhere.
Sacks, another 50-50 game. Lakers, 50-50 game. Philadelphia, and then Memphis again. Atlanta again. But that is not a super hard schedule. Now, the last time we said this about a homestand, the Warriors went 0-4 or whatever. They went 1-5 or some shit, right? On the homestand. But you get Draymond back.
I don't even know if they need to get through 10 games before a trade's made, because 10 games gets them to February 5th.
Right there. Right.
And maybe a trade's made before, but maybe it might be 8 games or so.
By the way, these are all national TV games, which is hilarious. Hilarious.
People like the Warriors. People like the Warriors. I'm sorry. Yeah. Steph, by the way, yes. Joey's aware that Steph makes a lot of money.
Makes him a lot of money.
I think it's realistic. They're at 500. Let's just say end of January. Okay.
Yeah.
That's 8 games. They would need to go
6-2.
6-2. Yeah. I mean, it's unrealistic given their schedule. It is unrealistic given how unserious they are.
2-6 is on the table. I'll tell you that.
Look, man, if you can't win in Memphis, beat Utah, beat Atlanta, those are the type of things that's going to make management be like, dude, it's just not happening this year. We should just play it for the offseason. We should make moves. Here's an example of playing it for the offseason. They traded for Andrew Bogut midseason when he was injured. Obviously, he was a better player than Monte Ellis, right? You saw the vision,
great trade.
But they knew it was going to hurt them in the short term.
Great trade.
There's no way around that, right? That's the type of stuff where you're just like, are we going to say no, we're going for it this year because Steph is still Steph and we can do it, or are we going to be like, let's take a big picture view at this baby?
It's like trading for Robbie Ray when he can't even pitch till after the All-Star break. All light years, baby. You keep bringing it up. I'm trying to fight you on it, Samuel. I'm doing my best to fight you on it because I really don't want that to happen. But if this team is 6 games under 500 come February 2nd, right? What are we doing? What are we doing?
They play Memphis and Atlanta twice before the trade deadline.
What are we
each
doing?
of them? They play. You have to. You have to win those games and look at make Dunleavy be like, dude, we could be like last year's Lakers. We could be like all it takes is the right trade. And next thing you know, we're in it, So
I've been kind of going the other way, just kind of saying the more they lose and the uglier that they lose, it's obvious that they need to make a move. I guess I didn't take into account the effect, what type of move that will be. And I think when you talk about the type of long-term money that they can have, is it going to be Wiggins for expiring, right? Or is it going to be Wiggins, a couple other guys in separate trades, and you get DeJounte Murray and another guy back, right? Like, and that way you can reload.
Kind of what I'm talking. Yeah,
that,
exactly.
Exactly. That's what you're saying. Like, that's the difference.
Are you going to reset or are you going to reload?
Hey, that's the title of the pod. There you go. Title of the pod. Reset or reload.
All right, we can get some goons right after this, but Andy, you wanna pay some bills?
We are brought to you by Sleeper Fantasy. They are back, baby. They are back. Football season is in the playoffs. The NBA season is here, which means you have a chance to now 100x your cash on daily fantasy basketball. Basketball has never been more exciting than it is now with players like Jonathan Kuminga, Brandon Pajemski, and Trace Jackson Davis. You can pick more or less on stats for these guys, like points, rebounds, three-pointers, steals, double-doubles, and more for up to 100x payout on Sleeper. Get your picks right, and you can win big. Use promo code LIGHTYEARS, and you'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Use promo code LIGHTYEARS. You'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. And this week's Light Years podcast is brought to you by Lucy. Lucy is upping the nicotine pouch game with breakers. Pouches packing a little something extra inside. What are Lucy breakers? If you know your pouches, you know that the nicotine doesn't hit immediately, and neither does the flavor. The geniuses at Lucy came up with a brilliant way to fix both those problems. They put a mini liquid capsule inside. Oh, we got a picture here for the live listeners. A mini liquid capsule inside each breaker's pouch. So here's what you do: you grab a breaker's pouch, then you break the capsule with your teeth. It makes a really satisfying pop. Then you put it in your lip and enjoy the immediate nicotine and flavor release. Nobody is doing anything like this except for Lucy. It's a new kind of pouch technology, and it's only available from Lucy. You get your 4 or 8 mg of tobacco-free 100% pure nicotine, 6 delicious flavors. You got the unique ones like apple ice or espresso, and the classics like mint or mango. So break up with your dusty gas station pouches and go to lucyco.co/lightyears and use promo code lightyears to get 20% off your first order. Lucy offers free shipping and has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. That's lucy.co and use code lightyears to get 20% off and always free shipping. And here comes the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning: this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Let's get to the goons. By the way, I see No Cap in the chat. I better hear him call in after we've been talking some trash. But we start with our guy Gifted Hoops, host Gold Blooded on playback. You all should check it out. He's fun to watch games with. Gifted, what's up, my man?
Not in a good mood.
What? Your audio's not hooked up, so that's the first problem.
My bad. Hello. Can you hear me now?
There you're good. Coming in loud and clear.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm very frustrated with this game. First off, shout out to y'all, Sam, and hope all you guys are in better spirits because I'm very upset. So I understand that a lot of people felt like this is a game where they're going to get blown out because there's no Steph Curry. But the Bucks defense the entire year has been abysmal with Malik Beasley as your POA defender, with Brook Lopez and Giannis being really the only plus defenders on the roster. So I knew coming in, every time this Warriors team subverts expectations, we should be decently competitive with the Raptors and the Pelicans, blowout games. We should get blown out by the Bucks. It's a competitive game. And I get that Klay Thompson shot bad. He had a bad, night in terms of that. But the shot making in the fourth was big, and his decision making with the pass and with Trace was good. But why is it that Jonathan Kuminga is the one that gets subbed out over Wiggins, and you're bringing in Looney? Size, it's so frustrating because if you're telling me that you're basing Andrew Wiggins' future on this team off the next 10 games when you know he is a variance player. They put him on the bench. He did not play much better. He was 3 for 12 tonight, and you're taking him out. You're taking Kuminga out, who had so many plays tonight that were impactful to the rim towards the basket that no one else on the team can do. Kuminga is the future of this team, unless you're trading it for a guy like a Lauri Markkanen, which I can understand. It's just frustrating to keep having, oh, well, they played hard, so we have moral wins. Corey Joseph, who does nothing with the basketball, a glorified worse version of Ben Simmons in 18 minutes for this team. I'm getting very upset because Trace plays 18 minutes, way better than Corey Joseph. He didn't get more time. Like, it's just so frustrating seeing the minute allocation be so stingy. And the fact that, as you said earlier, Kuminga is way younger than Andrew Wiggins, but he can only play 30 minutes, only 30 for Kuminga. I promise you he can play more. Like, it's just frustrating seeing us make the same mistakes over and over and over and over and over. And then we're talking about trades, and people are like, well, no, guys, if Wiggins plays better for 5 more games when he's only played good for like 8 on the whole season, that's going to up his value. And we should keep him then because he plays POA defense when his defense hasn't been good all year for the most part for Andrew Wiggins. Like, it's very annoying. And I'm calm normally. Like, I don't really freak out. I have fun. I watch the games. I'm fine. But just seeing these habits repeat themselves over and over in a very winnable game, this is so symbolic of our season right now. I'm sorry.
Cool. I don't have a word to disagree with you. Like, it is frustrating because it's everything has not gone right this season. It's been generally a miserable season, right? Like, in every capacity. And it's like the little things that have been positive, which is Jonathan Kuminga tangibly taking a step. You feel like he's fighting his coach every step of the way. Like, he has to do things twice as good to get a minute. And it's just frustrating, man. So,
and then B-Pods, by the way, right? Like, he played so well, and they barely used him on ball enough. He was just spotting up and making the shots. We just got to be better as a team. But, yeah, I appreciate you guys, man. Sorry.
Have a great evening, man. No, call in anytime.
All right, man. Ooh, got high standards. Better than me.
You're just a beating man.
I am. No, I am. That's why he comes in hot with the. I love it. It's, I'm kind of like
you've seen the Steve Kerr masterclass 1,000 times, literally 1,000 times. In a decade.
Looks like he has too. He just
Have you thought about it? Steve Kerr's been this is the 10th year Steve Kerr's been the coach, which means 800 plus regular season games. I know there was the one season they had a condensed schedule because of
it's like 700
COVID.
Too many, I think.
And then you think about all the playoff runs they've been on. He might be approaching 1,000 games as the head coach of the Warriors. Might really.
Sam, you're scaring me.
No, you're gonna get 2,000, Paratosh. By the way,
I think
he's going to stay on just for me.
All I'm doing is math. Yeah, 157. Or sorry, 135. No, I take it back. 138 playoff games that he has coached for the Warriors. You throw in that. So over 900 games he's coached for the Warriors. That's where I'm at right now. That's where I'm at. All right, Paratos, what you got for us?
Do you guys think Laker is going to be outside the conference or Steve Kerr's press conference again, wondering why Kuminga didn't play the final, 4 minutes or something? But anyway, I wanted to say I side with Sam on what you were saying about the trades, especially because there are so many moving parts. Clay's contract is running out, and then Steve Kerr's contract is running out, and the guy that we're targeting, Siakam himself, is a free agent in the summer. So it seems like, and unless like there's a home run, like I don't know, especially with Kuminga's play, unless we get Lauri Markkanen back, I don't think that they would be willing to do a trade that would give away Kuminga right now without looking at what it looks like in the offseason. So, because it seems like under another coach, maybe he would be not just playable, but he might end up becoming a star. So And because Lacob already gave up Wiseman and what we got back was a crocked Gary GP2. I don't blame GP2, but like he already had a favorite in Wiseman and has given that up. So to do that twice within the space of 1.5 years, was it 1.5 years? Whatever, however many months. But it seems unlikely unless we get Lowry back. Yeah, that's all I want to say.
I don't even think Lowry's on the market, just to be clear, in that capacity. And I hate comparing Kuminga to Wiseman. It's like Big Jim's going to be in China with setting bad screens for the Jeremy Lin retirement tour.
Yeah, I just meant in terms of
Jeremy Lin doesn't need those
being-
screens to get a bucket in the CBA, so he's good that way.
I just meant in terms of him being like Lacob's favorite child right now in the team. Like he's the next one that Lacob is moving.
I guess the question is, and this is probably better for Sam. Do you think that Joe Lacob will let Kuminga go?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
basically.
I do. I think the Warriors' perspective on Kuminga is a little more nuanced in the sense of I don't think anyone internally thinks he's going to be Kawhi Leonard or Tyrese Howard. Like when okay, that's the guy after Steph, but they think he's a good player and they're not just going to give him away for no reason, if that makes sense. And I think it's really that simple. Like frustrations when Steve doesn't play him because he's better than the options he plays. Frustrations when maybe his trade value isn't as high as it should be because of your coach. Those sort of things. I don't believe that the Warriors are married to him because they're about a year away from having to pay him a lot of money, and everyone's feelings change when contract dollars are in there. Remember how much they loved Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole? All right. Well, we just gave you $30 million a year and you're playing like trash. You got to go, bro. So Kuminga will be exactly the same thing. They may love his upside, but if he doesn't get better, he's out the door.
Just one last thing is, what would you give him up for? What would Lacob be willing to give him up for an expiring Siakam? I don't know. I just don't.
No, it wouldn't be.
That's the thing. If you're trading for Siakam, you have to do it with
they know.
You have to do it with the idea that I'm going to give him. We're re-signing him, and we know it costs this much. That's like the math, right? Like it's not we're just going to see what happens. You're doing it knowing that you need to pay him this much in the offseason. All right, let's get in here. Let's get MT, but not that MT.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Saturday night, enjoying ourselves. Not a barn burner of a NBA or a football game tonight, but still fun.
You know the funny thing, I unironically had more fun watching this game than I have than I've had like watching several other Warriors games this year. And that kind of leads into another thing, a potentially ridiculous psychological question. If you had a magic crystal ball and you knew that regardless of trades, Siakam, whatever, that for the rest of the Steph Curry era, that you were a first round exit at best, would you be happier not blowing it up, but prioritizing the young guys as the core kind of gets more washed, or just watching the core get more washed? Like if you knew for sure that was like the future.
That's a lead. That's a question that
it's a leading question. Leading the witness. Objection. Objection.
We can't win that one because you're telling us the conclusion. I think the only flaw in that scenario is that I don't know if any of these guys are championship ones or even championship twos. So if there's a 5% chance, so let me just take your question and then just make it wrong and just rephrase it and say, if there's a 5% chance you win a championship with Steph, right? Not that he lose in the first round, which I imagine they'll lose in the first round a few times these next few years. But let's say they steal one again, like 2022. I'd rather take that chance because I don't believe, as great as Kuminga looked tonight, as well as Podz this season, And Moody, we all love Moody. I don't believe that any of those guys will ever touch. Honestly, will ever touch even what like Clay has been. Definitely not what Draymond or Steph has been. Give me the 5%. I'd take that.
I guess the reason I have a hard time with this question is I don't believe Steph is washed. So, if Steph was looking more like Clay or, then I would just be like, yeah, let's just enjoy them for what they are and like hope that like the young players they keep like one of them is going to be a guy, right? But I genuinely think Steph can still be the best player in a title team. I think he plays that well. I think he's the only guy in that conversation who doesn't have a true number 2. How many guys do you think are actually good enough to be the best player in a title team, Andy? Just do the math in your head. Jokic, duh. Giannis, yes. LeBron, I'll still throw him in there. I would
like are you talking about like right now? Right now.
Yeah, I put Luka potentially in that category. I have a hard time saying Embiid, but I'll throw him in that category.
Well, there's KD, there's Kawhi.
There's KD. Okay, that's 6. Maybe Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
No. We're not.
Okay, but my point is, every one of those dudes I just listed has a superstar. They have Devin Booker. KD has Devin Booker.
Yeah.
LeBron has Anthony Davis.
Right.
Some days it's debatable which of those duos is even the better one.
Yeah. I was waiting for that. Yeah.
Jokic has Jamal Murray. That's my point. Because Clay is a little older and he's not what he once was, like Steph doesn't have that guy.
Draymond
and until I see Steph have that guy and they're still a mess like this, like I'm not going to believe that, That's kind of where I'm at with it personally.
And maybe then he becomes more of a Giannis Jokic, right? Because I think the other guys have better, probably overall 2 guys, but Giannis is a better team around him than a lot of these other guys, right? Like the combination of Middleton and Brook and Dame, like that's really good. And then Jokic has got Aaron Gordon and Jamal Murray, and he's just got some really
MPJ. I mean, I love MPJ,
right?
I know he could be a little inconsistent, but like the when he's going, dude. It's pretty,
but he's still better than Like he's still better than a lot of what the Warriors have, especially because he's in his prime, right? So, like Steph, can you get
debatable if he's even hit his prime, to be honest? But
with his back,
I'm splitting hairs. I hear you.
It's just which is the long way to go about it. If you can put, and Steph is going to get an AD next to him, he's not going to get any of these guys superstars. That's just how it works. But if you can put Pascal Siakam and Draymond next to him. Right, like then we're talking, right? Then we're talking about just way more. He had this with Draymond and Wiggins and Clay, no less than 2 years ago, and it worked.
You're not giving Poole enough credit. Poole's better.
Oh yeah. Poole. Sorry, like Poole then is the version of MPJ, right? Like because MPJ doesn't close some games, Poole didn't close some games, but hell, he was a huge part of winning a lot of those playoff games, right? So yeah, right. I forgot, but yeah.
I think we can end it there. I think it's a fair question, but I'm not ready to put Steph in retirement tour just yet.
It's a good way to end it. Good way to end it.
Appreciate everyone. We'll be back. MLK Day will be after the Grizz game. We having some fun. Later.